Good morning, everyone. This is Manda from Yoga at the Head Shed, or www.theheadshedretreat.co.uk. So, this is Derek. What I thought I'd do today, after a discussion with my neighbour yesterday, she said to me, could you help us create a space for yoga? So it looks like we're going to be in for a few weeks at least, and hopefully exercise is going to play a part in your daily regime. However, we don't all have the right gear, do we? So maybe you've got a better mat. If you're regular to our classes, we have offered for you to borrow a mat. And if you still need a mat, then just let us know and we'll leave one by the door and you can come and pick it up with pleasure. Happy to share. But you know, it's very easy for an instructor to pick up a block, another block. Oh, I have didn't bring it down. I have a wedgie block as well, which is highly unlikely that you have. So I thought I'd just share with you what we have as opposed to what you could have, and actually how to create a good space and a good feeling before your practice. So I can only really share what I do. Now, I'm really lucky because I have my shed. Many of you know I've had a shed fetish since being a little girl. I used to have a Wendy house, I had a beach hut, always had a little place. I had a little shed in the garden over there with a chair in it, and I would write. I was on some website and I had something like 35,000 views on my little shed. It was quite amazing. Anyway, that's full of Dean's things now. Now I have a bigger shed. I am the shed lady. But you know, you just need to create your space. So some of us are lucky enough to have some space, and some of us will need to use family shared space. So this is why I thought it'd be a really good idea to have a box. So if you've got a box, you can put your things in, and that can be your little bit of heaven, and then you can get your box out and strap your stuff. So I'm just going to share what I do. So before I do my own self-practice, I go and have a shower. I personally think that when you shower, I have my best ideas while I'm in the shower. I'm always invigorated, always inspired, often can't wait to get out of the shower to go write something down. So for me, and maybe for you, go and have a shower first. Then I clean my teeth, because you just feel nice when you clean your teeth. Then, little top tip, stick a bit of Vic up my nostrils, and a bit crazy, but maybe it's the same as cleaning your teeth. It just makes you feel nice and fresh. Now, no big deal, but this Dynamic Santé by Clarins, I mean, this has just got yoga written all over it for me. You'll have something that might have yoga written all over it for you. So indulge, use your favourite shower gel, shower mousse, whatever, and attach your yoga practice to whatever. This means yoga is about to happen for me. Okay, hair. So if I were to have my hair down like this for a practice, for a lot of the time it would just be in my face and it would just drive me crazy. If I have it in a ponytail and I lie down on my back, then I've got a bump and very uncomfortable. The only way for Ashtanga is pigtails, okay? So 2 little pigtails, that needs to go in your box. Actually, I'm going to put it in my box. Okay, so that goes in your box. Next thing, you need some water. So the worst thing to happen really during your practice is, I'm really thirsty. Now I've got to pause the video, go and get a drink, come back, and it just sort of, it's not quite as linear, is it? So get your drink near you. Top tip, use your normal drink container. Don't put a glass down, because you can bet your life the dog comes along and tips your glass over. So that's the done. Okay, so blocks. So you may have a block. It's unlikely you have a block, okay? So what do we use blocks for? We use blocks for child's pose or being a bean. So for many of us, we can just get our head straight down onto the floor, or we can stretch out our arms and bring our head down to the floor. For some of us, we can't, so it's really nice to have a block just to put your head on. remember your block has different sides, so different heights. Okay, so use that for that. Also for half moon and for reverse triangle. So really important you have a block. You don't, if you went to a traditional Ashtanga, I went to a traditional Ashtanga class one day, and I took a block and a strap and they threw it out the way because you would just come out of it more. Instead of going into it, you would just come out and use the available energy that you have at that time. However, it is quite nice to have a block. So, okay. So if I were to come into a reverse triangle, for instance, my block would come to the side of my foot. I'd lift up, create some space, come forwards, little micro bend in my knee. My opposite hand would come onto my block and I would twist and turn. So we don't press on this block, we don't dump into the block, we create some energy and lift up through the block, but it's quite a nice feeling to have the block there. I see a lot of grabbing in classes, grabbing the block. Well, if you grab your block, then you're creating a bit of tension, so really you want to just keep it nice and soft. However, you possibly don't have a block, so ta-da! You could use some books or some old CDs. Remember, again, you can create some height. I must put it this way. Now, if Mandy's watching, she'll be very, very pleased with that. Well, not pleased, but just really happy for me because this is The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner. And why wouldn't you be happy with that? Oh, do like a bit of Kevin. Sorry, Dean. So if that floats your boat, I suggest you get some CDs, DVDs, come on man, DVDs, and put your favourite film on the top. Me and Kevin, forever. Okay, so I have flat blocks as well, so that may be when I want to come down onto my arms again. I can still use it to balance, but they're a little bit wobbly, so that's not so good. Or I can sit on it. So I can sit on it, helping my pelvis tip forward slightly. So when we sit down, if we're really tight in our hips and our hamstrings, it's quite hard for us to sit like this for a while. So by elevating your bottom, elevating your bottom, it's going to help you somewhat. Okay, oh, I'm on a block on it. I'm on a block on a book. Okay, so that's just going to help me tilt my pelvis forwards, which feels very comfortable and very nice. Okay, so what would you use instead of that? 2 books. So 2 yoga books here, any books you like. Maybe a dictionary that we don't use anymore, or some college course that you subscribe to if you never got round to doing. But again, same sort of thing, just elevates through your hips. Okay, so where are we? Music. So all my classes, I don't put any music on them at all, because there can be a few sound issues with YouTube. However, you can use your own music in the background. I tried to put some music on when Dean and I did a class yesterday, but it did drown out the sound a little bit, so we ended up switching it off. So that's that. Plants. So I've brought my plants in. For me, it just gives me a sense of peace and calm. It adds to my bliss list of plants and the outside and growing. Lovely. So you can't, oh, this one up here, this is Ryan, and there's another one over there called Jenny. And these are 2 instructors that work at the Hot Pod in Leicester. And I just think they're really good instructors, so I called my plants, 2 of my plants after them. Thank you. Blanket. So keep a blanket handy for the end of your practice for Shavasana. So some of the classes, or maybe a few of them, I won't put Shavasana in so that you can lie in your own time, making the class that little bit longer. But we'll see how I feel in that moment on that day. But it's nice to have a blanket. And again, it's a shame to get to the end of your practice and then think, oh, I've got to get up and go and get a blanket. So have that in your box. A candle, so really nice in the evening to be able to light a candle, and especially if it's a scented candle that is your favourite smell. What's not to like about that? So that also was a gift from Julie, and it's nice to have something that, you know, thank you Julie, that's lovely. Where are we? So sometimes we use a strap in a practice, and again, in a traditional Ashtanga class, you would not have any props. So you would use the movement that you have available to you. So I'll just explain that. So I'm going to cut my head off now, sorry guys. So if we're doing a modified Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, we may put our foot around a strap and then just lift our foot either straight or bent. It's absolutely fine. Okay. As we move on, you might want to work on using the strap with the hand that's the same side as the leg. In a traditional Ashtanga, you would lift your leg to where is available to you, coming into the full pose of stretching up and straightening your leg. So you don't need a strap, but a really good thing is to put two belts together or your dressing gown belt. So works in a really good way. Really nice as well to open up the shoulders. So using a belt to just slowly open up your shoulders. Nice thing to do in the morning. Make sure that your hands are nice and wide apart. Right, we're getting there, aren't we? We're nailing it. So you could have your candle, you could have your room spray. So as you know, I like Twilight. This is actually Rose Jam, which I do like as well, but I really like Twilight. And this is what I spray around the class, at the beginning of the class, around the room. And some of you little munchkins pick it up and think it's mat cleaner and spray it all over your mats with gay abandon. No, that's £25 a bottle. Hey, this is good. You can just go and smells divine. I don't know what's happening with deliveries, whether we can get deliveries, but you just spray what smells good for you. For me, if I spray that, I'm back in the hall and back with you guys, and it just feels lovely. So I'm getting my box ready then. So I've got my blanket in here, I've got my candle, and then room spray. I have my bottle, which is obviously going to get washed out and cleaned every day. And then I have my set of CDs or books with my favourite film on the top. Oh, right. I hope Kevin Costner's watching this. Okay, so that's going to go in there as well. And then I've got my books so that I can just elevate my hips, so that's going to go in there as well. I've got my plants anyway in this room, but I may want to, if I've got a little plant, I may want to pick up the plant and put that in there. If you have any Vic and you fancy that idea, that could go in here. Obviously, the shower gel really needs to go in the shower. And then I've got my belt. So it could be a belt, it could be your dressing gown belt. If you're walking around with your dressing gown on, it keeps opening. You know where your belt is. It's in there. And then lastly, oh yes, no, we need a cushion. So a cushion might be good. I don't have a small cushion here, I have a great big cushion, but a cushion on the very top would be good for the end or just pure relaxation. And let me just whiz through my list. We're nailing it. Lastly, Ellie, my daughter, bought me this as a Christmas present. And it's just a little notepad, and while this is happening, I'm just writing in it, keeping it positive, just little, I don't know whether you can see that, just little squiggles, pictures, diagrams, whatever. Oh, that's today. That needs doing today, or I want to do it, not need to do it. And it's a good thing to do when you've just done a class, because we feel good after a class, and it does give us an element of control. So have a little book, have a pen in there so it's ready, and there we go. Perfect. Yoga ready. So I look forward to seeing you all, and well, I won't see you. I look forward to you seeing me. And do enjoy. Use that Yoga Sheddies group. If you want to go onto the group and you've seen this video but you're not friends with me, make friends with me personally, Manda Greasley, Greasley. Make friends with me personally. Maybe you want to just inbox me and say, can I be a Yoga Sheddy? And I'll add you to the group. Once you're on the group, you just enjoy it. You could tape your video, your practice on high speed. I can't remember what it's called now. High speed is the slow-mo, and then if you're on an Apple phone, you can scroll across the bottom, photographs. Oh, I've got one here. It's one I prepared earlier. Time-lapse. So if you're on an Apple device, you can scroll to the side, go onto time-lapse, click that, and it will reduce your practice into about 11 seconds. Really nice then to go through it and look at your practice and see how you're doing yourself. If you want to be really brave, you could upload that to Yoga Sheddies, upload how you're feeling. And what we thought would be really nice, it's very, very important that we create self-love at the moment for ourselves and everyone around us. And if you've created this space and you've done your practice, maybe you just want to put on Yoga Sheddies, either nothing or how you feel, keep it positive, how you feel in this moment, followed by a purple love heart. And I think that's a nice message to us all that we're spreading the love. So go and have a shower and switch one of these videos on and enjoy. We can do this. Namaste.